get to learn the damper pedal. Of course, they've been using it for a little while with their heel flat on the floor and with the pedal on the ball of their foot. But now this is the time that they learn the symbol as well as the definition for it. So when we press the pedal, the sound of notes that we play actually continue, even after the keys are released. And we lift the pedal and then the sound stops. The damper pedal is used to connect harmonies and make the overall sound legato. The pedal on the right is called the damper pedal. Okay, so I have the students press their foot down, hold down, and lift foot slowly and silently. So it's really important for students to play the note first and then press down the pedal. And at the end of a piece, the hand lifts off of the keys at the exact same time as the pedal lifts. So here's Papa Haydn telling a little girl, it will be easier to pedal if you wear shoes. It's so much easier to pedal when students wear shoes. One of my students, she would come in with her piano playing shoes in a special bag, and they were gold. Oh, it was so wonderful. And you know what? She's a piano major today. Oh, my goodness. Good habits were instilled from the beginning. And Chopin, at the very bottom of the page, he just says an arpeggio is a broken chord. It means to play in the style of a harp. So then we ask our students to go ahead and transpose pedal study to different keys. Right, to D major, E major. And you know what, you could teach these various keys just so students get an idea of the different patterns, right? From C to F to G, all white keys, D, A, and E with one black key in the middle, and then B major has two black keys, and so on and so forth. Shimmering stars. So let's talk a little bit about this piece. First of all, the students are learning their damper pedal. Right? And when the hand comes up, so does the pedal. The student plays the note first and then pushes down the pedal. Right? And the reason why we do that is so that there's clarity of the harmony. So, of course, this piece is about a nighttime scene. We can talk about that nighttime scene. We can talk about the ritardando at the end of the piece, which means to slow down, as you know. And there's the Chopin tissue box. So at the end of each one of those phrases where there is Chopin there, the student can gently release their wrist and their forearm follows. So let's see, is there anything else I wanted to talk to you about? Oh yeah, at the very end of the piece is a pianissimo. So that's new. And if you see some teaching videos of mine in FJH SATP land, you'll notice one of the boys is always grappling with the idea of dropping and rolling. So, right, and why is that dropping and rolling so important? Because the student hears the loud sound going to a tapered, quiet sound at the end, right? If they keep their wrist locked, it's just not pretty, right? It's very ugly if that last sound is hit, right? Whether it comes from locked fingers or locked wrist or locked forearm, we have to make sure our students always play with a flexible wrist. Just like Chopin always wanted his students to do. Always think about a flexible singing wrist. Okay, first and second endings is taught in the piece called Spring by Antonio Vivaldi. His nickname was the Red Priest in Venice, and the student can certainly hear and read all about Vivaldi. This is, of course, one of the most famous pieces of all time. And this is from the Four Seasons, which is considered to be one of the first programmatic pieces ever written, which means a piece that really sounds like the title that the composer wrote himself. And then there's a second ending where the student can play quiet. And then they move to a new hand position. This piece is good because the student has to think really quickly. First and second endings, they have to move several times throughout the piece so they're not stuck in only one hand position. There are quite a few different dynamics in it, as the musicality girl talks about. And she also asks, were the staccato notes short and crisp? And how about if you try a kickoff touch release in measures 13 to 17? Why don't we try that? Well, that's fun. It gives it a little bit sense of a perkiness, doesn't it? Oh my gosh. So that gives a little bit more sense of artistic personality for our students playing. Then the students learned the theme and variation. Actually, they learned what a theme and variation was way back in the preparatory level with Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. But here we have another theme and variation. This is called The Charms of London. Tim Brown found it somewhere, and it's by Johann Nepomuk Hummel. So here's the theme. Classical era composer. And now we're ready for Unit 8.